In the early hours of November 2nd, 2025, Ukraine endured what Kyiv officials describe as the largest aerial bombardment since the beginning of the war. The scale of the attack was unprecedented, with Russian forces launching more than 800 drones and 13 ballistic missiles at key urban and military centers across the country. Ukrainian air defense units, stretched thin but still operational, managed to intercept 751 of the drones and neutralize 4 of the incoming missiles. Despite these efforts, the sheer volume of the assault overwhelmed defensive layers in several locations. Fires erupted in the heart of Kyiv after a drone struck the Cabinet of Ministers building. Residential neighborhoods in Zaporizhia, Kryvyi Rih, and Odessa also sustained damage, resulting in at least 3 civilians' deaths and over 20 injuries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation shortly after the strikes, issuing a direct appeal to Western allies to consider providing boots on the ground. Air defense alone are no longer enough, Zelensky stated, marking a significant shift from his previous stance that avoided direct calls for foreign combat troops. At a recent summit in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron confirmed that 26 nations had pledged future military support for Ukraine, but explicitly clarified that any deployment would be limited to post-war stabilization missions, not active combat roles. Internal disagreement within the coalition continued to stall immediate decisions as NATO members remain wary of escalating the conflict into a direct confrontation with Russia. The October 2025 battlefield landscape has been defined by a dramatic evolution in Russian drone warfare, spearheaded by the newly operational Rubikon Centre. This specialized unit has deployed vast swarms of first-person view (FPV) and loitering munitions with remarkable coordination, systematically dismantling Ukrainian and NATO-donated systems. Working in tandem with elite Russian formations such as Zapad, Dnipro, Center, and Novorossiysk, Rubicon teams have demonstrated mastery across electromagnetic, air, and ground domains. Videos evidence reviewed by conflict analysts show destroyed M113 armored personnel carriers near Kharkiv and the obliterations of a French-supplied Caesar howitzer in the Donbas region. The attacks are not random. They reflect a sophisticated real-time targeting system, integrated drone reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and precision strikes. Russia's Lancet loitering munitions, Duran 2 Shahed drones, and massive FAB 500 and FAB 3000 glide bombs have become the backbone of a new combined arms doctrine that prioritizes disruptions of command nodes, logistic hubs, and defensive perimeters. The center, north, and west groups of force have executed this strategy in near synchrony, turning once secure Ukrainian positions into smoldering ruins. This operational tempo has placed immense psychological and material strain on Ukrainian brigades, many of which are operating under chronic shortage of ammunition, spare parts, and trained personnel. The battle for Pokrovsk, known in Ukraine as Krasnoarmysk, has emerged as the focal point of Russia's eastern offensive. On October 27th, a devastating strike in the Dnipropetrovsk region showcased the lethal synergy between Russia's Iskander-M tactical ballistic missiles and Su-34 fighter bombers, targeting a concentration of the Ukrainian 67th Mechanized Brigade near Vodolazh. The operation began with drone-based surveillance, followed by an Iskander-M strike that neutralized Horn position, and concluded with glide bomb runs from Su-34 to finish off surviving assets. Footage released by the 25th Ukrainian Airborne Brigade illustrate the deteriorating situations on the ground, where Russian drones now dominate the airspace. Moscow claims to have encircled approximately 10,500 Ukrainian troops near Pokrovsk and liberated several surrounding settlements. President Zelensky has acknowledged the dire imbalance of forces, stating that Russian units in the area number around 170,000, roughly 8 times the size of the Ukrainian contingent. Ukrainian command attempted a desperate countermeasure by deploying special forces from the main intelligence directorate, GUR, via UH-60A Black Hawk helicopters. The mission, intended to relieve encircled units and restore logistics, ended in catastrophe. Russian drone operators from the Centre's group engaged the landing team within minutes of touchdown near the Melbestros factory, eliminating all 11 commandos. Kyiv denies complete encirclement, but Western analysts warned that without immediate reinforcement or strategic withdrawal, Pokrovsk risked falling, a loss that would represent Russia's deepest penetration into Donetsk Oblast since early 2024. Russia's artillery and deep strike capabilities have entered what military observers describe as a digital era. Tornado-S multiple launch rocket systems (MLRS) deployed by the Severe Group of Force in the Kharkiv direction now operate with GLONASS guided 300 mm rockets that achieve near pinpoint accuracy. Unlike the older Smerch system, the Tornado-S integrate real-time data from drones, satellites, and forward observers, enabling dynamic retargeting mid-mission. Concurrently, the Russian Air Force has severed critical Ukrainian supply lines by destroying the Volshyas River Bridge in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, a key artery for troops and material heading for Pokrovsk. The capture of Novoalexandrovka, adding 12 square kilometers to Russia's controlled territory, further tightened the noose around Ukrainian positions. Compounding Kyiv's challenges, captured Ukrainian soldiers describe conditions of starvation, dehydration, and abandonment by command structure as factors that led many to surrender. Meanwhile, Ukraine has retaliated with bold deep strike operation inside Russia, including a major sabotage mission against the Ring fuel pipeline network in the Moscow region, which disrupted aviation and diesel supplies to frontline units. The Pentagon has reportedly given its approval for the transfer of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, having assessed that such a move would not negatively impact American military stockpiles. The final decision, however, rests with President Donald Trump, who is weighing the strategic implications of providing Kyiv with weapons capable of hitting targets deep within Russian territory. This potential escalation in military support comes at a time of heightened nuclear tension. Russia has conducted a successful test of its 9M730 Burevestnik, a nuclear-powered cruise missile with a claimed unlimited range. This test, which saw the missile travel 14,000 kilometers over 15 hours, is being presented by Moscow as a demonstration of its unstoppable strategic deterrence. In a parallel move to bolster its conventional air power, Russia has announced the scaling up of serial production for its Su-57 fifth-generation stealth fighter. The United Aircraft Corporation (UAC) is accelerating its delivery schedule, aiming to provide 76 of these advanced aircraft by 2027. In a significant development for Russia's defense industry, Algeria has become the first international customer for the Su-57, signing a deal for 12 units. This concurrent development underscored the multifaceted nature of the conflict, which is being fought not only on the battlefield of Ukraine, but also through advancement in military technology and strategic international alliance. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. With Russia accelerating its Su-57 productions and mastering coordinated drone warfare, while the United States government under President Donald Trump agrees to send long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, are we witnessing the definitive end of conventional warfare? Is the battlefield now permanently dominated by stealth technology, precision-guided munitions, and unmanned systems, making large ground armies and traditional air forces increasingly obsolete? Or is this simply the next evolution of a timeless cycle of military innovation? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.